You want details? Fine. I drive a Ferrari 355 Cabriolet. What's up? I have a ridiculous house in the South Fork. I have every toy you can possibly imagine. And best of all, kids, I am liquid. So, now you know what's possible. Let me tell you what's required.
lifeadvicerr@gmail.com. I think I'm going to read a couple follow-ups because we had a couple follow-ups, and I don't normally want to turn this into like a Reddit thread of, hey, let's all just chime in on all this stuff. But one guy was really fascinated about the female who wrote in about the guy who had the trench coat that nobody liked. And he goes, you left out a really important part, that guy should be thrilled that they broke up, considering she was that mad about a trench coat, which I thought was interesting, but that's not really advice. So I'm giving you a shout out, sort of. Then another one, this one, I got to be honest, it kind of annoyed me a little bit. I'll leave the name out. This was after we had the IT guy that said he was hooking up with the girl that had an Air Force guy. When I say something like, oh, he's an Air Force, I'm doing it for the line. So understand that. Like, it's still entertainment here. And some of you guys take everything so fucking seriously that I don't know how you operate during the day. And that's not necessarily what happened here, but it's like, hey, in regards to the life advice you provided to the IT bro and accountant, I've been a paralegal in the military justice system for a while. Ryan's assertions to become the boyfriend was an airman and not a rugged Marine. He was probably okay to tell the guy man to man he's been sleeping with his girlfriend was not a great take. Okay. One of the first classes I did was a signal soldier. Nerds that set up satellites in order for military personnel to have the internet in remote locations. He chopped up his wife and buried her in a tough box, hard plastic box with your gear. Okay. All right. Look.
This guy doesn't get it.
If that's what we're gonna do in life, like imagine if I said, don't date construction guys. I know one. He killed a guy. Like we could all find a way to make anything, any scenario like, no. I heard a story about a guy, or I knew a guy that did this. Like, we can all do that. And again, to make it more seriously, he was saying that during this time, the military is even more stressed out because of COVID and all this stuff. Hey, man, there's never been a moment I haven't had all the respect in the world for the guys that actually go out there and do something, especially the guys deployed. They're facing real shit and putting themselves out there. All right. So for anyone that felt that, the reason I'm bringing it up, because I know there's a lot of military that do listen to this. I don't know. I just following up so that people kind of understand. And I didn't really love that email as if like, oh, I have a horrible story about a guy in the Air Force. Like, oh, okay. Like, hey, I got to get some landscapers around here. I don't know. I read the story about a landscaper in Texas. Might want to think twice. All right, let's get to the advice parts. All right, younger brother. Some advice from my younger brother, late 30s. He's in his mid 30s. He's in the trades, master electrician. Homeowner. He's pretty stressed about no wife, no kids, having never had trouble meeting cute girls, but he is frustrated, frankly, angry and bitter. Well, I'm sure he's just a charmer to date then. He gets angry and bitter when the relationship doesn't go further than 3 months. I figured he would eventually calm down, change his scene, figure it out, but it hasn't happened. My approach was to be positive, not give specific advice, just light thoughts and occasional reality. He's basically saying his brother would be like, hey, you told me that this girl wasn't perfect for 30 minutes. No one is. Why is that a deal breaker? Really, I love this line. My wife is impressed at how he does have a high opinion of himself. Yeah, a lot of us, I don't know how that works because I don't really. That's not my hang up. I don't go like, oh, this person isn't perfect. I just I have a lot going on, and I don't know. Like, I guess I'm getting more comfortable being by myself. But that's not today's podcast. I kind of love that we should just go, hey, this is what you do. This is your living. This is your current situation. These are your future prospects. And you're probably like a mid-level, salary guy. You're not a max guy. You're like a mid-level. Or maybe you're 2 with a team option. Like, be realistic. I have a couple of friends that have done it where they just go, yeah, this is the best I could do. We get along. She's cute. Like her dad. Don't like her mom. want to have kids, think she'll be a good mother. You know, they don't have any money. She's not really going to work, but that's okay too. You know, it shouldn't just be about money. It shouldn't just be about your partner's career. But if we were really, really being honest about all of these things that it's not nice to be honest about these. You go, yeah, this is probably the best that you'll do. So if your brother is thinking that he's going to start dating women from Brazil that cover soccer, that's probably not going to happen. Although I don't even know if that's his interest. All right. So he said that his mom and the sister are pretty manipulative. So that's to he and the brother really use people for their own satisfaction. Whoa. Some stinging sentence right there. It was hard for me to come to realize this. Lots of talking and soul searching. Shout out to you. Both my brother and I have cut our sister out of our lives. Ouch. But my mom is really involved in his life. Mom decided when I got married and had kids, I wasn't much use to her. So she dropped me more than I pushed. Oh, so she dropped me, then I pushed back. Sorry. Our mom is involved with my brother, and I think she's intentionally sabotaging his relationships. The most dramatic story is she bought him a membership to a dating site last year. He isn't a computer guy. So he asked to set up his account. I did. Then my mom started helping him check his account. So she started setting up dates. So he went on a first date, and this girl was expecting him to be my mom, and he was expecting her to be whatever my mom told her about her impressions. All right, that's a little bit misleading. I'm sure she didn't say like, hey, I'm a 50-year-old woman. Let's meet up for coffee. She was basically expecting the personality to be the mom's personality with the brother. Are you following me, Kyle? Because this is,
I got you. It's a little weird. It seems like there's some emotional pains from the actual writer too, but I like it too.
Yeah, I think the writer is on point. I think he's pointing out a lot of good stuff here. So basically he's saying the mom was setting it up and she's talking to the girl, and then the guy shows up with a different personality. Then this is what I'm assuming here. Then the mom who was doing it. This is fucking really weird, by the way. All right. He said the date was a disaster. And then he asked me to close the account. I did. The question is, should I talk to my brother about my mom? Should I leave it alone and trust he'll figure it out? All right. You know, I used to, when I was younger, I would introduce who I was dating to my mother, and then I stopped because my mother would like immediately become best friends. And then one time there was a girl that I was dating, and then we broke up. And then, I don't know, a year later, I'm dating somebody, and I wanted to bring her back to Martha's Vineyard for a weekend in the summer, which makes a lot of sense. Like one of the cool things about dating somebody from Martha's Vineyard is like, hey, do we ever get to go there and visit? Not that I would really ever want to stay at my family's house with my girlfriend, but my mother let my ex move in.
Oh, get out.
I was like, you guys don't think this is remotely fucked up? They're like, oh, whatever. It's not a big deal. She needed help. We all get along with her. Your sisters get along with her. She's like, yeah, it's cool. You can meet up for lunch. So I would come home, and then the girl I was dating was like, I can't come back with you this weekend. And I'd be like, well, actually, you can't because it's super awkward. My ex lives there. And the mom or dad, you know, it's not like dads aren't guilty of getting involved somehow, but it wasn't cool. It was totally. And then I would try to say like, hey, I can't believe you guys didn't okay this with me, or like she needed, and then I'd ask my ex, like, why are you doing this? Like, rent a fucking apartment. And then, you know, I knew she was trying to stay in the mix. Come on, kid, who we kidding? So moms being involved historically has not worked out. Scholars have argued this for centuries, that unless you're some sort of dowry, you know, we're past that. We're not trying to join tribes and castles here. So I don't know why it'd be hard for you to talk to your brother about this. Like, why can't you just go, hey, dude, mom sucks with this stuff. Done. And by the way, tell him to chill the fuck out. Because if he's just going to be angry and bitter that after 3 months it's not on family time, like this is one of those deals. I know exactly what's happening. Not to go all crystals on you here, but his vibe, his energy, women pick up on this stuff way better than men do. If he's doing a mental countdown of impatience about wanting to be in that relationship that's now the next chapter of his life, if he wants it, so the chances are like wanting that really bad like that, it doesn't work. Careers, pursuing, sometimes things happen when you least expect it, but it makes sense more with a career. But in relationships, if you're like, dude, I just want to be married and have kids, like you're going to come off as a psycho without maybe even realizing it. So I would tell him to try to dial that back. And a lot of times in life, again, when you just sort of relax, like, okay, cool, this is where I'm at. We'll figure it out. And also, you guys collectively need to stop getting so stressed out about the pandemic impacting your dating life. Like, no kidding. It's a lot harder now. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you're alone more. I'm sorry that it sucks. I'm sorry that you can't go to bars. I'm sorry. You know what I mean? Like, but you guys just got to suck it up. You do. I just took care of 30 emails on that one. It's been tough dating during COVID. No shit. You know?
Word. Why are you even trying?
Yeah. Like, I mean, you know, rent more movies. I don't know what to tell you. It's hard. So yeah, I don't think there's a time. I mean, I spent way too long on that as always, but yeah, that mom part, there's nothing about this where I went, yeah, good plan. That checks out. Good stuff there. Tell him to 180 this thing. Expect nothing, be stressed about nothing, and leave the mom out of it. Longtime listener, first-time writer. This is about my brother. We'll call him Andy, and his wife, who we'll call Angela. Wait, are they from Scranton? Okay. So Andy tells me that he's now in an open marriage, and like most men, he seems ecstatic. Okay. I asked how he managed to pull that one off, and he tells me that it was her idea. He said there are a few rules there, though. No friends, no questions, single people only. The whole situation seemed suspect. I assumed she was feeling guilty about cheating, and that's why she suggested it. Fast forward a couple weeks, and a coworker of mine whose wife works with Angela tells me that everyone in the office knows that she's in an open marriage, but she's been sleeping with her supervisor, Dwight, for a few months. Dwight is 12 years old and has been married for 14 years and definitely not an open marriage. Since then, I've heard some same rumors about numerous people. Angela has always been distant from our side of the family, so there's not much love there. And their marriage is based on them getting pregnant a few months after dating. Not sure what to tell him without seeming like I'm trying to ruin a marriage or let it go because it's kind of what he signed up for. I've thought about sending flowers to their house signed by Dwight. Do we think this is fake?
Not fake, right? This is just him doing like,
yeah, right.
This is him doing the shtick, but this is real without giving us all the names we have to edit out.
Okay, so let's just imagine it is real. And obviously he is using the characters from The Office. If your wife suggests an open marriage, you're probably in some trouble. There's probably some stuff that you don't want to know. And as much as it's the concept, like you're some 2020 harem guy, you really want your wife like hanging with the trainer who's 15 years younger than you and way better looking? I don't know if that trade-off is like, if you really care about each other, like that joke of you get your one a year or something like that, which I don't even know is real. I don't know, whatever. I've never been I've never been married, but the idea that like, hey, you're allowed to cheat on me once a year. Like, oh, really? Okay.
Definitely won't think about that.
Right. Yeah. Wait a minute though. Are you going to hook up with like a neighbor or something? It's like, well, and I just be like, look, no, like I can't do that. I can't. Hey, Doug, you guys cleaning out the pool early this year? I know you slept with my wife, but it's cool. We get one a year. I was out in Tahoe. So, you know how that goes. Yeah, I don't know what to do here. I would just say for any of our married guys out there listening, if your wife is like, hey, I got a crazy idea, then it means you're probably already in trouble. Unless you're just this super, super futuristic couple that understands like the animal needs of primates, and you're just like, no, this is how we operate, and we're totally good, and we're totally good with it emotionally. Like there's no conflict here whatsoever. I'm like, all right, weirdos. Probably not going to let your kid watch TV until he's like 16, right? One of those families. Again, that might be the right thing to do. You know, because there's somebody listening right now being like, oh, we don't let our kids watch TV. I'm like, yeah, I know that's cool, but I'm just saying it's also weird. All right. I think we've done enough work here. lifeadvicerr@gmail.com. Please make sure you check out the podcast. Hey, we got comedian coming up Wednesday, right? That's locked in?
Locked in.
One of the funniest guys going right now. He's going to join us Wednesday, secret. but it won't be a secret when the podcast comes out. So make sure you subscribe to the Ryen Russillo podcast and follow him on Spotify. Thanks as always. Talk to you Wednesday.